Hello and good morning. Happy Friday, everybody.
Hey, is this Arrow?
That'd be me.
Hey, it's Jody Hadlock. We're supposed to have an interview at this time.
Can we have a conversation instead?
Yeah. Oh, that sounds much better. Yes, please. I definitely like that better.
Because you know how we writers are. We just want to talk. That's why we have this love affair with pages. I just want to put my thoughts on a page.
Yes, definitely. And it's taped. It's taped, right?
If we went back to 1979.
That's true. Well, okay, that shows my age too. I was 13 in 1979.
Oh my God, what was that? What was I in 79? So I was born in 62, so 79. I mean, I was up there. I was 17.
Oh, well, I was born in 66.
Wow, what a time.
Yeah.
Do you want to go back to anything like that? Because I feel like that I love the knowledge that we have today, but I want the innocence that I had then.
Yeah, life was a bit different back then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it sure was. We had teachers that actually believed in writing. Is that where it started for you in school?
Yes. Well, ever since I was young, I mean, I always loved to read. I think it helped because my mom, I would sit and read to her every night. And so I just developed this love of reading. And then by the time I was around, I think about 12, I knew I wanted to write a book. So, and it's taken me quite a long time, as you can tell.
That's so funny you say that because I wrote one of my very first books in the 10th grade, but it took me 32 years to finally let it go to be published. And it's like, wow, I'm not getting those years back.
Oh, I know. I did an Instagram post. My book was just published Tuesday, and I did a post that posted a picture of me on a ski trip when I was 15.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, 40 years later, it finally happens.
Now, you're more than just an author. You researched. I mean, first of all, listeners need to understand that Diamond Bessie has a story, and this is a 150-year-old story. What gives here?
Well, it was a long time ago. When my husband and I were dating, he's from East Texas, a little town called Marshall, which is where I'm at right now.
Wow.
And Jefferson is nearby. And we took a day trip over to Jefferson and went to the Historical Museum. And I saw this article about Diamond Bessie and Abe Rothschild in a Dallas paper in the 1930s about something that had happened in that little tiny town 60 years earlier. And I thought, wow, why was this paper still interested? And then I had another thought, but I don't want to give away the plot.
Mm-hmm.
And that just started me down that rabbit hole. And it was a very long journey, but I'm really glad that it's out now.
So did you feel like an archaeologist, or did you feel more like an investigator? Dun, 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 dun.
Both.
Really?
Both, yeah. Oh my God, because excavating, the mining the information. Yeah, no, it was great. I actually found out that I love research, which is probably a good thing, writing historical fiction. If it's going to be historical, then you better like the research, because it was an overwhelming amount. But I loved it, and I love the writing too, even though the writing is much harder than the research. The research is fairly easy. And especially now with the internet and with newspapers.com and everything. When I started researching this, it was a long time ago. It was before you had things like newspapers.com. So I was going through microfilm at the library, going through page by page. Look, I mean, there was no, I couldn't just type in the find box, find Diamond Bessie. No, you had to look at every page. And then I went through all these newspapers, and I had to use interlibrary loan, where you request it from another library. Yes. You wait for it to arrive. You've got like 2 weeks to look. I mean, it took so much longer when I first started doing the research. And then, because I set aside this project for a long time for a number of reasons. And then when I came back to it, wow, all of a sudden everything's online. And so it was really great for that. And it'll be very helpful for my second novel. Hopefully I'll get that done much faster.
But see, I call that fermenting, though, allowing because when you do the research because the researcher is not the writer. The writer has its own relationship with things growing forward. But as that researcher, you had to give yourself time in order to put it into street speak inside those pages.
Oh yeah. It was it's an interesting process now that I've been through it, and to see how well the research, and then I thought I had finished the research, and then when I started writing, I found out I still needed to do more research, because especially something set back then in the 1860s and 70s, I couldn't say that Bessie used the telephone,
Right.
but in 1876, I mean, and that's a blatant example, but I mean, it was getting down to the nitty gritty of, the fashions changed by decade. And then, of course, I'm writing about a 19th century prostitute. I've never been a prostitute, so I, luckily, but I found 3 memoirs of 19th century prostitutes that were absolutely fascinating, that I mined for everything I could, that really informed Bessie's life, which was very helpful.
It's amazing how much she had that girl power, her superpower. She was able to move and do things in her own way, and yet it doesn't go the way that we all wanted, but yet there's a story here that still has impact.
Yes. It's interesting because when I first started working on this story, I thought, I'm focused on Bessie and what happened to her, et cetera. But then there's also the context of what was going on in society at the time. Why did a woman become a prostitute then? Looking at those reasons. And then the women's rights movement was, really getting going. So that's, the backdrop of everything. And so it was really, it was fun actually to incorporate all that, because I didn't want it just to be focused on just Bessie and her little world, but the broader world, what was going on around her and how she fit into that.
To build up the suspense that you do, how did you build these paragraphs and things like that? Because it's all about engagement. You want your readers to go to the next page. We want to go to sleep, and you're going, no, I got to get one more page inside of me.
I had somebody the other day, she posted a review. She said she started reading my book at 7 a.m. and she finished it at 9 p.m. that night. And so that makes me so happy. I mean, I just wanted to write an engaging story. Mm-hmm. And, I'm not out trying to win a Pulitzer or whatever. I mean, I wanted something, a page turner, engaging. I like quick reads, so I think mine I've been told it's a quick read. Obviously, if this woman read it and one sitting. I mean, that's interesting when you hear that, because you spend years on research, yep, years writing and editing, and then they read the darn thing in 5 hours. So, but no, it's worth it. Whenever I get that reaction, that just makes me so happy.
Do you think the reason why people are so attached to it is because we love true crime podcasts, true crime television, and things like that? And
yes,
and then I've got to ask you, are you going to go in those directions? Because it can't just be a book. It's got to be something. I want to see the person that you select as Bessie.
Oh, for like a movie or something?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know if that would happen, but and I actually have written a few screenplays. Nothing's ever been produced. I did have a producer interested in one, and I love screenwriting. I absolutely love it. So I think it'd be, fantastic, obviously, if, something happened with that. But my husband and I are true crime junkies. And I think we've seen everything on TV and in the movies, anything to do with true crime. We just watched Inventing Anna, which is a little bit different than a murder, but still, yeah, it's almost embarrassing to tell people that how much we watch it.
No, because what it does, it really, that's one of the things that I got into during the lockdown, was that that it's a binge watcher, man. Once you tap into something like that, you just can't break free of it. But that's okay. I don't have to live out there in that real world.
Well, yeah, like the Tiger King.
Oh, God.
Oh my God. I mean, mind blown. I mean, that was just you couldn't stop watching it. It was just, and then my brother, oh my God, with the Carol Baskin and memes. Oh my Lord.
So now, what did you personally learn from all of this research? Because I mean, now you went from the student to the writer to now you're the teacher.
Oh, well, that's a lot. I finishing this, it gave me, confidence. So now, I feel like I can tackle, the second book. But then as far as, taking away from the book itself, I want readers to feel like, how far women have come. Mm-hmm. It was so different back then. And also maybe to be a little bit forgiving of ourselves.
That's big. That's big.
Is that a little bit too deep for you?
No, it's not. That's speaking my language. No. That's perfectly in tune.
Oh.
Can you imagine if people did find that discovery where they could say, "Wow, I'm just going to forgive myself today." Whoa, here we go.
Whoa, I know. So, yeah, but it's it's interesting because when I first learned of the story, you don't think about all those things like theme and everything. You're just like initially interested in, how and why did this happen, and et cetera. And then you start writing, and then these themes emerge that it's like subconscious. It's and then you finally realize what you're trying to say, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So now, because it's a true story, did you even have the opportunity to have what I call a wine glass moment where you go in, you sit behind the computer and you go, I'm taking this out. And it's only because you just feel like that you have the confidence to say, this part of the book is going. I'm not going to keep it.
Well, it's interesting you asked that because I had a prologue at one point, and I don't want to say what it was because I don't want to give it away. It affects the plot.
It's in the book.
Yeah, well, but I had this prologue that I could not let go of, and I had so many people tell me, and then finally I let go of it, and I'm like, I'm just going to trust that this is the right. It was the best decision I made.
Good.
Because now the story, there's a plot twist, and so it's a surprise. And if I'd had the prologue, there wouldn't be that surprise plot twist.
See?
So it was the best decision I made in writing, in that editing process. And I just, for some reason, I just couldn't let go of it.
Yeah. See, and that's every reason why I created this channel on iHeartRadio is the fact that there are so many hider writers in the world that they write, but they put it in a box and it sits underneath the bed or it goes up into the attic. And it's people like yourself that say, don't stop. You may have a tough little area, but keep going.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's what last night I was at an event at a bookstore in Longview, Texas, in East Texas, and there was this man I was talking to, and he has 4 manuscripts, and he hasn't done anything with them. And I told him, I said, you've got to publish these, whether self-publish or do hybrid or whatever. Try to find an agent. I said, you need to do this. He's written 4 books. And so, yeah, I know a lot of people, but I was so determined for this, to make it, this far, to come into the world, and I'm really happy that I've gotten to this point, and now I can focus on my second book.
So now, can you talk about that second book? Because a lot of authors say, no, we're here to talk about this one.
Well, no, I don't mind. I don't want to say too much about it, but well, okay, this is the thing though. It's partly going to be set in Russia.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. And I was planning to go there next year because I would, and I'm like, I don't know. It's just, everything going on with Ukraine. It's just horrible. And I just, I don't know so I may just have to do everything remotely, but it would be set in 1858 to 1880s in Russia and the U.S.
Look at you. You are a historian.
I love it. Oh, I know. I do. I love historical fiction. I think I'll probably stick with it.
Oh, my God. Wow. So now are you like, because I like to act out my pages. Do you do the same thing when you're writing?
Act out my pages?
Yeah, in other words, it's there's got to be a flow to it. I mean, when you go back and you read it, you go through your self-editing and stuff like that, there's got to be a rhyme and a reason.
Yeah, it is good to read your work aloud. That. But as far as that's interesting. I think I might have to. You've just given me a good idea to think about.
Well, we are writers and we love to share. That's a fun thing about it.
Definitely. Well, I used to be a journalist.
Okay.
I was a broadcast journalist for a decade or so, and then I did nonprofit PR, and so I've always been a writer. I always wanted to be a writer, but I'd always really, really secretly, wanted to write novels. So it took me a long time, but I can say to anybody out there that you're never too old and to never give up.
So true. So true. So what's your website where people can come and give you lots of love and start following you?
Yeah, it's just my website is my name, Jody in a Hadlock, HAD as in dog, LOCK.com, obviously. And I'm also on Instagram at my name, and I have a Facebook author page, Jody Hadlock, author.
Excellent. You got to come back to the show, and we got to talk about that second book when you're ready to rock, and we'll laugh and have a good time, and and continue this conversation.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much.
Well, you be brilliant today, Miss Jody.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, okay.